because you can't see her. The Instagram folks can see her because she's on my lap. So I'll take her up to the, oh, you see her here. She doesn't really like to be held this way, but she looks pretty adorable in this position, doesn't she? Oh, she's such a good cat.
I think your cat did the trick because now I think the technology has finally.
Yes, the technology is working.
Yes, we're live on YouTube as well as Instagram now.
That's great.
Hey folks, sorry for the delay. The power of our entire building went out right as we were starting this call. And then I think Zoom's kind of jammed up with all of the extra service. So we're just getting to you now.
And are you seeing comments? Where would I see comments? Or will they be invisible to me?
Jesse, if you could send Kelly the page where she can see the comments, Jesse will send that over to you right now so you can see them coming in. And yeah, just welcome to everyone who's joining us. And again, apologies for the technical difficulties. My name is Kaylee Isaacs. I'm the founder of the Awake Network, and I'm here with Dr. Kelly McGonigal. And we're going to be speaking about compassion and working with times of uncertainty and fear. And so we're just going to leave another minute or two for people to regather after the technical issues. And in the meantime, it'd be really great to meet as many of you as possible. So the way to do that is to scroll down to the bottom of this page. Below all the videos, you'll see a comment section. If you're on the Summit homepage, if you're on Instagram, you can comment there. And at the bottom, go ahead and let us know who you are, where you're tuning in from, and how you've been doing, and anything else you want to share with the community. We really want to get to know everyone and have as much connection as possible as we're learning to connect more through this virtual form in times of social distancing. And so we can get to know each other over the next 4 days of the Mindful Living Summit as well. And if you're tuning in from Instagram or you don't know what the Mindful Living Summit is, you can check out mindfullivingsummit.com, where you'll be able to get access to the main area the session's being hosted, as well as the next 4 days of teachings and practices that we'll be going through as a community. So again, go ahead and introduce yourself at the bottom of this page in the comments section. My name's Kaylee Isaacs, and we're tuning in here from Boulder, Colorado. And let's see, I think we're just about ready to begin. So just to say a few things about Dr. Kelly McGonigal, who many of you are going to be familiar with from her best-selling books or very, very well-reviewed TED Talk, or from earlier today when you received the first guided practice challenge from her for the start of the Mindful Living Summit, or also from some of our previous summits. Dr. McGonigal is a health psychologist and lecturer at Stanford University, and her mission is to translate insights from psychology and neuroscience into practical strategies that support personal well-being and strengthen communities. So Kelly, thanks so much for being here with us. We're really excited to speak with you.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. And I'm starting to see some of the comments on YouTube. I don't know if they're streaming in anywhere else, but hi, Bobby. Hi, Sal. We got folks from South Carolina and Montana, and on Instagram, we have people already from all over the world. And we would love to know where you are. So if you are watching this someplace where you can see a place to type in where you're located, where in the world you are, please let us know where you are. You know, this summit is about how to engage mindfully with life. And I know when we were putting this summit together, there wasn't an understanding of what exactly moment we would be living mindfully in. And I so appreciate this invitation to consider how compassion might be a resource in this difficult time. Part of mindfulness is just allowing yourself to acknowledge when things are difficult and what thoughts and feelings are present. So I thought I would start just by sharing some of the things that I'm thinking about and feeling, and inviting you to do the same before we do a guided compassion and appreciative joy meditation. So as I share a few things, I would love to hear in a word or two, maybe the emotions that you're dealing with, what's present. I know one of the things that is most striking to me is that, oh, are you talking to me? Are we good? Okay, sorry. I thought I was getting information that nobody could hear me. So one of the things that's most striking to me is that we're living through a crisis that is revealing to us just how interdependent we are, just how much we rely on one another at the very same time that we are being asked to change our behavior in ways that make it more difficult to rely on one another and connect with one another. And that can create quite a sense of loneliness or despair. And so sorry about that. Um, I'm getting emergency information about the pandemic as we speak, and that is probably a very aggressive alert. And that's the world that we're living in now, is we are trying to do one thing. And that, I think that is actually a perfect analogy or metaphor for what life is like right now. You are trying to feed your kids or have a meeting, distance meeting with your colleagues at work, or get things done, get in touch with a family member. And suddenly there's an alert that goes off that's like, this is a crisis. We're in a pandemic. Everything is chaotic. And I think many of us, that's sort of the way that life feels right now. We're trying to engage, we're trying to connect. And also, whether it's from external sources like the news, or literally, pandemic alerts on our phone, or it's that voice in your head that is keeping you up at night, and trying to figure out, is there something I can do? What should I be doing? I can't see a family member who's sick, and we don't know if that person is sick with the coronavirus or just the common cold or flu. Um, so one of the things that I've discovered in my own life is that compassion and kindness are often a tremendous resource during times of uncertainty and fear or loneliness and disconnection. And so often when people talk about compassion and kindness, it's from this perspective of it's a virtue, like it's the right thing to do, it's a good thing to do. Um, but maybe it's because I don't need a global pandemic to be experiencing anxiety and fear. That's sort of my default state of mind. Uh, I have found that actually compassion is not so much about just being a nice thing to do, but that it's a source of resilience. And that when I am feeling overwhelmed, or when I'm feeling afraid, or I'm feeling paralyzed, or despair or lonely, that being able to connect to that part of me who is aware of the suffering that I'm experiencing in the world, feels connected to others through that suffering rather than alone in that suffering, feels a desire to relieve that suffering, and a willingness to act, a desire to respond, and whatever that response can take. I know that for me, that fills me with a sense of energy and hope. And at the same time, when I see others doing the same thing, it also is a source of hope and encouragement, to see compassion flourish in individuals and in communities. And that also allows me to be more open to receiving support and encouragement and help from others. And it's this kind of upward spiral where when we connect to that compassionate mindset and motivation, and we allow ourselves to be helpers, we allow ourselves to appreciate and witness the kindness and courage in our community and in others, and we also open ourselves to receiving the support that is available to us, the love in our relationships, in our families, in our broader community, that becomes it's almost like a life preserver that can keep us afloat when it feels like we might be drowning. So my intention today is to lead you through a guided compassion and appreciative joy meditation. And for those of you, if you're watching, you don't have a regular meditation practice, let me share a few ways that you can engage with a practice like this. So you can always sit down and do like a formal guided practice with steps like we're about to do. You breathe in a certain way, you think about certain things, you imagine certain things, and it's this whole formal practice, and we end it with a dedication. But also, I encourage you, if you listen to this practice or you do this as we practice, to look for the one phrase or the one image or the one idea that in that moment when you connected to it, it gave you that sense of common humanity, or it gave you that sense of courage or hope. Because meditations are about cultivating a certain mindset, but you don't need to do a 30-minute meditation in order to reconnect to that motivation and mindset. So one way to think about the practice we're about to do, which will be about 15 minutes long, is that hopefully you'll hear one thing that maybe takes 15 seconds, not 15 minutes, for you to connect your mind and your heart to. And then later on today or tomorrow or next week, when you're feeling overwhelmed or you're having trouble sleeping. I've been doing a lot of meditation lately in my bed late at night, that you can actually bring that image or that thought or that breathing exercise to mind and let it be a resource for you. And because I always think it's nice for people to know what the meditation is going to include as I guide you through it, let me just give you an outline of what it is. And if it sounds appealing to you, then maybe you go in with your full open heart and open mind and do the practice with us together. So we're going to begin with a breathing exercise and a little bit of mindfulness, which I invite you to breathe with whatever thoughts and feelings are present, whether it's related to this global health crisis, or as we know, we're all also going through our individual lives, and you may be going through personal crises that have nothing to do with a pandemic, and you still have relationships and roles and goals that are meaningful to you. And so just being present with the complexity of all of that. And then I'll ask you to connect to your compassionate mindset and motivation by thinking about someone you care about, a community that you care about. It could be the school that your kids go to. It could be your workplace. It could be your neighborhood. It could be your profession and the people who share your profession. It could be your extended family, just a community that you care about. And then to think more broadly about your care and compassion for human beings at large. And then we'll go through a process of extending love and support to each of those. And then we'll finish with a reflection on gratitude and appreciative joy, where I invite you to think about people who are out there right now helping and being kind. So that's the gist of the meditation. And if that sounds appealing to you, we are going to start where, as you go through this mindfulness summit, you will learn we typically start, which is settling in to the present moment where you are and choosing a position for yourself that just feels like an acknowledgement that you are here. You're here for yourself and you're here for one another. Maybe getting a little bit more comfortable in your seat. And always with the option to close your eyes if that supports your attention. And notice that you're already breathing. Noticing the inhalation and the exhalation. Noticing how it feels to breathe in and how it feels to breathe out. And just a simple sense of gratitude for this connection we have to life, the breath in and the breath out. And you might even place a hand or both hands somewhere in your body where you can feel the movement of your breath. And taking a moment to breathe with what is. So if there are any emotions present right now, or something that's weighing on your mind, and breathing with what is also includes allowing yourself to choose the focus of your attention. So I invite you, if your eyes are closed, to open your eyes and see if there's something in your immediate environment that reminds you of someone or something you love. And let your attention rest on that for a moment. I can see my cat. I can see my painting of John Coltrane and Natalie Goldberg, people I admire and love. What's something in your environment right now that reminds you of someone or something you love? And again, if you'd like to close your eyes, feel free to do that. As you come back to the feeling of your breath, I invite you to imagine that you could breathe into and out of your heart, almost as if you had nostrils on your chest. And what would it feel like if you could breathe into your chest and breathe into your heart, and exhale, breathing out of your heart? Just what would it feel like? Breathing in, imagining that the breath could nourish or refuel your heart. And imagining your out breath as a kind of offering from your heart. And to help connect to your compassionate motivation, that natural compassion, I invite you to bring to mind someone you care about, a friend, a family member, a pet on your lap, someone you care about. Just bring them to mind. Whoever comes to mind is perfect. You know, the wrong person never comes to mind. And now bring to mind a community that you care about. Have that specific community in mind. And now bring to mind for a moment all of the people who are practicing with us right now. There are hundreds of folks who are watching live, hundreds of folks around the world who are breathing with you and practicing with you right now. And just allow yourself to bring to mind that connection that you have to humanity. And for each one of these, we'll take a moment to imagine sending whatever kind of love, support, encouragement, hope that you would like to offer to each. So coming back to that loved one who came to mind, a friend, a family member, a pet, someone you care about, bring them to mind. And imagine that as you breathe out, you could actually send love or hope, strength. Come back to that feeling of breathing into the heart, connecting to your source of compassion. And imagine that your out breath could carry love, hope, strength to this person or animal that you care about. And in your own mind, you might say for this loved one, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you know that you are loved. May you know that you are not alone. And you might imagine your breath or these wishes reaching your loved one. And bringing them hope or strength or comfort. And now let's bring to mind that community that you care about. As you bring them to mind in whatever way makes sense for you, picturing them or maybe remembering a time when you were with them. Take a big breath into your heart and imagine that as you breathe out, you could send them love, encouragement, hope, strength. And in your own mind, you might imagine saying to them or wishing for them, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you know that you are loved. May you know that you are not alone. And again, refreshing that imagery or that felt sense of connection to this community. And take a couple of breaths, imagining that you can send these wishes, send this love and compassion to this community. And just what would it feel like to imagine that they can receive it? That that breath is reaching them and they could literally breathe it in. And now let's do this one more time for all of us and all of you. So, all who are with us right now from around the world, listening and breathing and connecting to their own compassion. Go ahead and imagine these countless strangers, so the people who are actually here practicing with us now, and their families and their loved ones and their communities. Let's include all of them. And that includes your loved one and your community. In whatever way, it can feel abstract, but just imagine, connect to all of these hundreds of people, their loved ones, their families, their communities, and even broader out than that, their broader communities, and to all of humanity. And imagine that your out breath could begin to pump some of that love and compassion into the world that all of us need. Breathing into your heart and breathing out the antidote to suffering that you want to send into the world: courage or hope, kindness, faith. And thinking of all of us who are here now, and all of our loved ones in our communities. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you know that you are loved. And may you know that you are not alone. And take a moment and actually now just breathe that in for you, for you. Around the world, people are offering you love and hope and strength and courage. What do you need in this moment? And can you just breathe it into your own heart? Knowing that there are people around the world who are holding you in their hearts right now. And as a final part of this practice, I want to do a little bit of appreciative joy, which is the practice of noticing the good in others. So I would love for you to bring to mind someone you are aware of who is helping us through this difficult time, perhaps professionally. It could be an individual you know, a healthcare provider, someone who works in delivery, someone who works in law enforcement, someone who's out there doing their part, or more broadly, the community of healthcare professionals, the community of people who are on the front lines, who are helping to hold our communities together. Just bring to mind that individual or that community. And you could even imagine just saying to yourself, thank you, saying to them, thank you. Know that they are there. And perhaps you're included in that, and know that there are people right now who are grateful to you. A lot of people. And now I invite you to bring to mind, maybe you yourself have experienced someone in your own community who's just doing what they can, delivering food, checking in on neighbors. Yesterday, I did a Instagram live dance class with Debbie Allen, who made a lot of dreams come true by offering that dance class. There are a lot of people right now who are doing what they can to offer something of themselves. Have you seen that? Have you witnessed that? Maybe you've read about it or seen it on social media. Bring to mind a specific individual or just even that idea of how many people are out there doing their part right now. And imagine saying to them, thank you. And part of appreciative joy is also seeing the good and the strength in yourself. And so I invite you to take a moment to acknowledge something that you are doing or a sacrifice that you have been asked to make, a difficult reality that is now your burden to carry because we're all in this together. Can you take a moment and acknowledge your own strength or your own kindness, your own courage, even if this is not something that you would have chosen? And as we move forward, whether it's another day or another week or another month or another year of this uncertainty, one of the practices I want to encourage you to do is at the end of every day to thank yourself for the role that you are playing. We're being asked right now to make a lot of changes in our lives, and it can feel like we're being asked to make them out of fear, whether it's to shelter in place, like I'm doing here in Northern California, not being able to work, not being able to see loved ones. And I really encourage you to take a practice at the end of the day of appreciative joy for yourself, to say to yourself, I may never know whose life I saved, but I trust that I saved a life today through the choices that I made. And a practice of appreciative joy of connecting to the understanding of how many of us are now in this too, that there are people making very difficult choices and facing very difficult realities, and some of them may actually be saving your own life. So let's finish this practice with just a kind of a collective breath together. You can bring your hands back to maybe somewhere to your body where you can feel the movement of your breath. It's just a nice gesture too. Sensing yourself and sensing the breath. Grateful for each breath we have. And grateful for this community that we're a part of. So thank you for being here with us today, for practicing. The chat windows are open if there are any thoughts or reflections or just messages you want to send out. Or I had forgotten to ask you all, like if you've seen some kindness in the world, like let's keep it open for a couple of minutes. And maybe if there is someone you want to acknowledge or honor, an act of kindness that you witnessed or something that you're doing in your own life, to just name that and share that with others. And I'm going to toss it back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. Just feeling really connected to everyone that's a part of this community right now, and really grateful for you for leading that. And yeah, as Kelly mentioned, let's hear from folks. I think it'd be really nice to hear some people's stories. So on the main Summit home page, there are comments at the bottom of the page. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll be able to write in there. Maybe some of you have already introduced yourselves. I wanted to read a few comments. And then, yeah, share with us what you've witnessed of others and of yourself in this situation, so we can hear a little bit from everyone. We have people tuning in from Ontario, Canada, Anne from Ontario, Canada. We have Lee Beckstrom from Longmont, Colorado. We have Peggy Maggie in Ecuador, others in North Carolina and India, Istanbul, Chicago, Argentina. Yeah, and hearing a lot of appreciation for the practice as well in the comments. I know you have folks watching on Instagram as well, Kelly. Are you hearing comments there?
Oh, yes, I know. Yes, just lots of heart emojis and people from around the world. And you know, a lot of this is part of practice. The practice of mindfulness and compassion is about acknowledging the suffering and making room for suffering and connection to coexist.
I'm seeing a few comments coming in that I want to read to share with everyone who's watching. Many people are watching this live, and many, many more will also receive this after. There's people in different time zones and with different situations. So to all that are watching in this moment live and who will be watching this video over the coming days, we're all a part of this together. And right now, I think people are finding themselves at home. So I think there's a lot of sharing as well. So the event has sort of jumped up, but there's over 40,000 people who have signed up to be attending the summit over the next 4 days. And many of those will be watching this video, so we can hold that sort of picture in our mind of who we're connecting with. We have here from Michael, my daughter has signed up to deliver groceries for seniors. Ellen tells us that in Peru, the whole country had a moment of applause for the healthcare workers. Let's see. Deborah, writing in from Napa, California, says that she's doing fine, and tomorrow at midnight, we go into shelter in place. I look forward to deepening my practice and staying connected to community through opportunities such as this. Thank you so much for your generosity of sharing mindfulness. So yeah, those who are tuning in now, we're writing some comments down below at the bottom of the page, sharing different moments of, what was the word that you used, Kelly?
Appreciative joy, or
Appreciative joy. Of what we've witnessed, acts of others or ourselves in this moment that we have appreciation for.
Oh, on Instagram, someone shares my stepdad in Florida just had a craniotomy yesterday, and I sent so much love to him and my mom. Yeah, so we were also sending love to him and your mom and to you.
Yeah. We hear from Darcy saying our county is coming together locally to organize a collective voice through a grassroots group to help elderly, homebound, and underserved populations in Illinois. Something's happening with the comments where I'm only seeing one at a time now, just so you know, Jesse, as we're working on some of the tech issues, but yeah, lots of folks commenting, really wonderful to see.
Yeah, and also a shout out and appreciation to all of the urgent caretakers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna, I accidentally flipped. My Instagram live. I think that's a good sign to say goodbye to all the folks who are with me on Instagram. I don't even know how to flip it back. So thank you all for being with me, and take care.
Does that mean it went upside down?
It reversed it, so it was showing the wrong view.
Oh.
I'm just going to share that. We're still with one another on YouTube and Zoom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll just read a couple more comments so we can get a sense of feeling some of the folks on the call, and then we'll close. And we do have the evening sessions of the Mindful Living Summit coming out tonight, and that's at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, which is 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And there'll be other practices and teachings with a variety of teachers tonight that you can check out. And then for the next 3 days after that, we'll be sharing each evening. And you'll also be able to attend a guided practice session with Dr. Kelly McGonigal each morning. We'll be sending that really early, a short session for you to really tap in with a different experience each day. So let's hear from a few more folks before we close. I have Sandy here who says, I attended 12-step program meetings for 35 years and always knew that it would help others when I would just show up and share. Sometimes just showing up for life can be more difficult than anyone else might know, but it was always a warm feeling to share with others. Thank you. And then we have Simone. Hi, I'm Simone from Milano, Italy. Thanks for this opportunity to feel how we are all united in these difficult times. Then finally, we have Diane here. Hello, everyone. May this day find you healthy and at peace. I'm a special education teacher at an elementary school in La Crosse, Wisconsin, USA. Thank you for your calm presence in this stressful time. I could feel the world breathe together and spread the love. Thank you. So again, thank you to everyone who's joining us today. We'll continue to gather over the next 4 days. And thank you so much, Dr. Kelly McGonigal, for leading this practice and session with us today.
Thank you.
Take care, folks.